So good morning everyone. Another wet day, but we will continue with our endeavour to get this camper done. So what we're going to be doing today is we bought a swivel for the front seat, so we're going to be installing that today. So we'll take you through that. Also a few other things have arrived that we've ordered. Got new catchers, got a few hinges and things, so we're going to be fitting them today. But I think the main job today is going to be basically fitting that front seat and the swivel. Not sure how it goes, but we'll take you through that. So basically we've got quite a lot to do today, but we're going to be doing it inside the van or in the unit, basically because of the rain. So off we go. So we've now been out and bought the seat base. This bolts on in the original position. There's holes there for it, but you have to remove the sound deadening carpet, mat, whatever you want to call it. So we've done this first job is to mount this into place. Now the swivel that comes with for the seat bolts into the original bolt holes, but it does mean that the seat's going to be a little bit higher than normal. But I think we'll take that in a stride. So this is the seat swivel that we've opted to buy. The only problem is some of the holes don't line up correctly. Now I don't know if there's going to be any adjustment on these, but if not, we're going to have to move the holes slightly. So on the back one there, probably going to be able to get that one and that one in, but moving around to the front I'll have to line a bit. So we've now got the seat bolted in. Had to move these little bolt holes a little bit, enlarging them just so it would fit, but everything's in there. So that's one job out of it. So if you are fitting a swivel seat, you may have to remove that last bit there off the seat sides to enable it to swivel. So that's what we've had to do. Right, so what we've got here is we've got the bulkhead off the original van, we've got some more ply, and what we're going to be doing is making a bulkhead for the back of the driver's seat. I think we're going to be putting some electrical equipment on that. But obviously if we've got that all the way down from the floor up to our above driver shelf, then that will fill that up nicely and it will become a splashback once we've got our cooker in, because the cooker's going to be there, the underneath is going to be the electrics, and we're wanting something like a small bulkhead behind the driver's seat. Now luckily we've saved the old profile, so the curve that we've got on this is a curve for the side of the van. We've just transferred that onto the ply. We're going to cut this out and we're going to try it in the van. The ply is quite thick. It's going to be carrying the weight of our inverter. The inverter is quite heavy. The inverter actually feels like it's about 50 kilos. It's probably not, but it does feel quite heavy. So the ply that we're going to be using here is a thicker ply. Now because we've invested in the track saw, this makes cutting the straight bits a lot easier. So you've got your track saw, you've got adjustments on this, it'll allow you to drop the saw a small amount so you don't damage your worktop too much. Now we're using this worktop because it's an offcut of wood that we took out of the van, so we're not too bothered if we make some marks in it, as you can see. But basically the track saw allows you to cut in a straight line. Now what you have initially is the aluminium track. It comes in two parts. You assemble it in centre, and then you've got a track that guides the saw along. We're going to be cutting along that track in a straight line in the hope that we get it straight, and this should ensure that. So we mount the saw on the track. It's got rubber on the back, so that keeps it in place most of the time. And all you're doing is running that along in a straight line. You're not having to worry about it going off track. You're not having to worry about following a line, because it's already a straight line on the edge. Top button here allows you to drop the saw blade, so you can actually get the blade going into the wood and then move along. Second button underneath is to enable it to be powered, so it's quite easy to use. Now another thing we've been doing today is we've been putting our four-way stretch carpet around the perimeter of the door. I mean, that's in black, and what we're going to be doing is we're also going to be doing the back door, but first we've got to fit a rear wheel carrier. We've gone for a two-piece one, so that's got to be fastened onto the door before we panel the doors. And one thing you can probably see on this is we've got our ply varnished. We will be putting a couple of piano hinges on the tops there, so we can get access to the back. We've also covered the black carpet, that four-way stretch again, on the seating there, and that's the vented cover that we're going to be placing alongside where our troma is. Obviously with a troma you still need to be able to get in and out there if you get any problems, but it also wants venting because there is a fan in there to keep everything cool. So what we're doing at the moment is we're fitting hinges to our storage. Basically we want the hinge to finish up like this along the edge, minimal obstruction. Now to do that, we fasten the hinge on that side. Just put a few screws in to make sure it's actually going to work, and then hopefully when we put that part of the hinge on that point, so we're going to do next screwing down this bit, so that will be in that point, so that when we bring this over, the only thing we're going to see is basically that. So we're going to nice finish all the way along. So we're going to do that on these two, because these are the two that are going to be our storage from above. So at the moment what we're trying to do is we're trying to put the hinge on the back of the cupboard using these little tiny screws. Problem is they are tiny, so when it comes to putting these in, it is a little bit of a task to hold everything together. Now one thing I'm not doing is I'm not putting a screw in every hole, as it doesn't really need it. So that's that bit done. And obviously that is now our lid for our storage. Now we've got that on there, I'm going to move on to the next one. Now we need a small gap here so that when we lift this one or this one they don't catch, and at the other end down there we need a little gap from the end of there so that when we lift that up it doesn't catch that. So these are all things to bear in mind when you come to doing your own storage or your own seating. Depends on what type of thing you want. I think what we may do is we may put a hole in here. I'm not sure at the moment. It's going to allow some breathing of the sponge, but my main thing was if I put a hole in there I can put my finger in the hole and lift the lid up. But at the moment we've got a slight overhang. We're not sure if we're going to keep that overhang at the minute, but the overhang at the end allows you to just grab hold of that section there. So at the moment we've got the overhang on this one, it's quite decent, and if we've got cushions on there it may be that we lift that and it lifts the cushions at the same time. So like I say, I'm not sure whether or not we're going to keep the overhang at the moment, but for now it will do it at that until we got our cushions on. So we're going to bring that over and then we're going to start screwing that one as well. So here we have our panel cut. Just going to rub off any mat, small pieces that allows us so we don't get any splinters in his fingers. And all I'm using is a block of wood with the sandpaper wrapped around it. Nice and easy, nice and cheap. So that's now done, we're ready to fit. So there we have it. We've now got this section, the back section, all this side is in. Like I said earlier, we're going to cover that material, bring it down a little bit, and that gives us an edge for our tongue and grooving. So we've just got this done, so we're now going to move on to the other side. So let's show you around there. So the other side is a little bit more difficult, mainly because we have the sliding door to contend with. So on the sliding door, the panel we're going to be making is going to have to come in and bring it round this section, because obviously that is a taper. So the front section is going to be fairly easy, it's going to be fairly flat, but here we're starting to have problems because of that curve. On that side, quite easy because it's flat. Just a shame that they didn't do that on both sides. This morning the job we've got is we've got some wood spars that are right up at the top of just holding our roof up. The only problem is with these in the way, the electric wires that are running the harness are coming at the front and we need them at the back. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to route out some grooves at the back, and this will allow us to take these bits of wood off, put the wire in at the back and then reaffix them. So that's what we're going to do them now. So as you can see now, we've got a groove there cut out, and that will allow us to run our wiring at the back of the pieces. We've got our screws that are going to attach them to the wall, and then obviously we can reattach these back to the metal parts of the van with the wiring now sighted at the back. So just a few more to do. So the notches we've just cut out allows us to run those wires at the back of the noggins we've got, as we're going to be fastening our phase plan up onto this bit. So once again, we've come to the end of today. So if you like what you see, if you want to give us a thumbs up, it'd be much appreciated. And obviously if you want to subscribe to the channel, then you can keep the updates going as we progress with the build. So that's it for today. We'll see you next time.